we're back.
Yes. Talking about breaking that trauma bond. Let's figure out how to do it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Setting boundaries.
And give some examples.
Yes, exactly. Healthy versus not so healthy.
Right.
Wow.
Well, you're already in a super unhealthy state coming out of one.
Yeah.
It is hard to break a trauma bond.
It is very difficult.
One thing you have to learn to do, and I'm going to scoot you over here, is let go of empathy for the person you're bonded to.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer just empathy. Right. Now it's toxic empathy.
Yeah.
And that is when your empathy reaches a point of you no longer take yourself into consideration at all for the other person. Oh, well, you had such a bad, it doesn't matter. I've got 70,000 things to do and the flu and the baby's crying. What can I do to make you feel better right now?
Exactly.
That's when it gets into
toxicity. Yeah. And I think one of the things that I had mentioned to a friend who could be in a similar situation. I don't know that it's a similar situation because it's taken a different turn, but it looked like it was going down that path. But what I said is they haven't become, what was the word I used? Like where people spew poison at you.
Venomous?
Venomous? Yeah. Well, yeah. It didn't get to that point of being venomous where they turned on you. And they were still in that, in that growth stage where you were in what you think of as a growth stage. That, okay, we're working on things are getting better. That healthy part of the relationship where you're like, okay, we have these issues, let's get working on them. And the other person's like, okay, not. But then it can get to a point of that toxicity that they turn on you. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know how to explain it any better, but it's no longer.
I'm going to give you an example of what I think you're talking about.
Okay.
I know a couple, and it's like, if you don't get therapy, we're done.
Yeah.
Like, it's to that point.
Yeah.
That you get therapy or we're out.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, I'll do it. I don't want to lose you.
Right.
I'll get therapy.
Yeah.
They went to 1 or 2 sessions.
Yeah.
But then it's like they took what they learned in therapy and twisted it to use against their partner.
Right. They become the victim and you become the villain.
Right.
That's what I meant to say. They villainize you.
Okay.
Like, you can't do anything right because you are coming from, you're not being genuine, or I don't know how to explain it. Because I don't know why it happened. That was the thing. Like, all of a sudden I realized that it was just venomous instead of growth. So I don't know where that came from, but
yeah, but that's definitely something that happens when you try to break free from these relationships.
Well, that's definitely when you see their true colors.
Most definitely.
When you start, yeah.
Because I never understood, and it's happened in one relationship. It was just bad, because I was fat and ugly and a bad mom and couldn't cook and couldn't keep a house. Like every thing I prided myself on, and I worked so hard, those are the things that they would attack.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I don't know, I can't do this anymore. Well, what other choices do you have? No one else is going to want you. Yeah. Like, you've got this many kids. Nobody's going to want a single mother. And
Good
you
luck.
this. Why do people think making you feel, well, I know why. Making you feel worse about yourself is going to get you to stay. And I felt, you're right. Nobody's going to want me because I am all these things you say I am.
And at least you're still standing here.
Right. And I love you.
Yeah.
So.
See, and that's what you said earlier about, like, having the empathy and the good empathy towards someone that's kind of the downfall that you have, because those people seek those kind of people out.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, I lost it. I hate it when I do that, but apparently it's not needing to be said.
Well, but it is another example of we get ourselves into these relationships. As much as I would love to blame everything on my partners, my trauma bonded partners, I can't do that.
Right.
I was a willing participant.
Yeah. And I mean, but that also, when you're done and you're getting healed from that trauma bond, that's when the grace and the understanding and the forgiveness for you comes in.
Right.
Because as someone else says, why are you still with them? You ask yourself that question 1,000,000 times,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't dare say it out loud, because it's that
shame,
panic, that fear, that all of that root system, the fight or flight mode that keeps you there, because
you think that's all you deserve? For
all
one.
you deserve, all that's out there, all that you can get. You hear your friends or family or TikToks or whatever talking about all of these terrible things.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Better the devil
At least
you know.
at least I know the devil. I can survive them at this point, but I don't know what's out there to come up against it.
Right.
And me personally, I got asked out and I was terrified.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Right.
I'm not even going to think about putting myself in that situation again.
Yeah. So you've got to learn to turn that empathy around for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You also have to strengthen your logical brain.
Yes.
These relationships are very much logic versus emotion.
Yes.
And when your emotions are heightened, that's why they say do not make an important decision when you're upset or when you're in any heightened state of emotion.
Yeah.
Because it shuts down your logical brain.
Yeah.
These relationships run on emotions.
They do.
So you've got to learn how to lessen it so that you can think logically.
I don't know so much about like lessening it, but stopping and taking a moment. Like I mentioned patience earlier, being patient with yourself, that, they have you at this heightened state. You got to make a decision right now.
Oh yeah, everything's right now.
And you're like, you know what? I need to take a minute, because my heart tells me one thing, but I know how my heart has gotten me into situations before. So let's just take a moment and think about this.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they're not up for that, then that's the time to go.
Right.
Like, what's that?
Well, and it's hit me too, because we keep talking about you need to leave, you need to leave, you need to leave.
Yeah.
For some of these relationships, it's dangerous to leave. And for someone, you can't leave because you are so codependent. You depend on them for everything.
Yeah.
The house you live in, the car you drive,
Yeah.
the money that hopefully you were given that day so you could get what you need that day.
Right.
So a lot of times, why don't you leave? Because I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And I wasn't allowed to work, so I don't even have a job to fall back on.
Right.
So it's real easy to say, get out of there, leave, leave, leave.
Yeah.
But we understand it's hard to leave.
Well, but also we understand.
But you can build yourself up to that. You can start planning and taking steps so that you're able to leave safely.
True. I mean, like, yeah. process of. But without, if you don't have money and you don't have the means of transportation or you don't have those things.
Family or friends you've already isolated yourself from. You don't feel like you can call any of them.
Right. Then what
But you
do
can. You would be so surprised to find out you call someone and you say, hey, I need to leave so-and-so. Can you help me? 9 times out of that 10, they're going to be, oh, finally, yes.
Yes.
What do I need to do?
And go. But then on the other hand, and again, this is not any kind of advice whatsoever.
Correct.
This is me and my situation. In my healing, well, I don't even want to say my healing, but in my awakening, I knew the moment, and it was time, and I didn't have a plan, but I knew whatever was coming, Spirit had my back.
Mm-hmm. And see, I didn't have that.
And that made it, but I had already started my awakening. So it was, and I've been spiritual my whole adult life. But once I made that decision to choose me, Spirit's like, we got you. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what, but then again, I had a safe place to go. I had the means to get there. I had an ideal situation, for lack of a better terminology for it.
Yeah. I did not.
No.
My husband was cheating in front of, he would bring her to the house in front of me. I couldn't go to my mom's because I escaped mom's to be with him.
Yeah.
And also she had married someone. We weren't allowed around her. So she was in her own trauma bonded relationship.
Yeah.
So I stayed there and watched him with her. I didn't even have a driver's license. No car, no money, living with the whole family, watching this go on in front of my face.
Wow.
And the only reason it ended was because my mother-in-law had a stroke of conscience, got sick of the upset in her house. Like, I don't know why she did it, but she took steps to get us back together.
Mm.
I found out later she's the one that pushed him into the affair.
Oh, God.
But then you find out years after the fact, I don't care what was going on with me. If you had called me, I would have come. And I know it's easy to say woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Right.
But just that statement floored me because at the time, I had no friends, hadn't had for years.
Yeah.
Like, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I got a little bitty baby that if I go anywhere, they're taking my kid away.
Yeah. Yeah, you have that looming against you, and they're more than willing to, say, hey,
Yeah.
this could happen.
Yeah. So I got to
I
sit
wouldn't
there.
do that. It's dangerous.
Don't sit on the couch and watch your husband make out with somebody else in front of your face, in front of the whole. Don't do it.
Ugh. But again, that just shows how much you needed to grow.
Oh yeah.
Because but also the forgiveness. Like, I would be upset with myself if I let that happen. You know what I mean?
Yes. But I was upset with myself because I'm like, I left a bad situation and got in a worse situation and didn't see it. Why didn't I see it? I, of all people, should have seen it. So I was upset about that part. But like, I don't really get mad at myself for the stuff I got myself into, because I'm still, tonight I learned something that I didn't realize. I can't be angry with myself for being who from birth I was trained to be.
Right.
I didn't know there was another way.
Right.
Like, I thought that's how it was.
Right. And that, yeah, I understand
And
that.
so,
How is it that you can know the difference?
if you've never even seen
Yeah.
it from a distance.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thankfully I'm not angry at myself for that part of it.
Good.
And neither should other people, because nobody gets in these relationships and like, woohoo, a trauma bond.
We get going.
All
here.
right.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, let's see how many ways I can jack myself up with this one. Like, nobody does it on purpose.
Right, I get that. I did have to do some forgiving of myself though, because I did have the means. I mean, when it came down to the nitty gritty, yeah, I did have the means, and so it was just a matter of when is enough.
Yeah.
And thankfully, it was enough before it got violent. Because I don't know that it would have. I never felt that in the relationship, but I never thought I'd see that evil look spewing venom at me either. So
Well, yeah, but I've been in multiple relationships and abusive upbringing and whatnot. I have thought many, many times I would rather you just beat my ass than me deal with this.
yeah,
Just beat my ass and get it over with.
yeah, and that's not a good place to be.
No.
But that's again, we're giving ourselves grace. We're knowing that we wouldn't put ourselves intentionally in that position,
Absolutely.
and we'll do the best we can with
What we got.
what we got to get out of it.
Yeah. And if the best thing you can do is make a plan and start.
Yeah.
With the one,
You know,
I saved up $5 here and there, and
well, and like I was thinking about it the other day, the way that social media is, and we said this the last video. If anybody needs somebody to talk to, or needs, if we could help in any way, just make a comment or contact us. You can contact us through Soulful Conversations, but anymore. And I don't know, maybe I haven't heard of a GoFundMe for a while for anything, but
they still do it though. My friend's doing one.
Yeah, so many people that have been in, I would donate to someone to help them get out of a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, you have to completely know that they're legit.
Right.
You're gonna pay for anybody's weed money this week or anything like that.
But there are things in place now.
Yes, that is
shelters and hotlines and.
Yeah.
Back in my day, if your husband beat your ass, what'd you do to deserve it?
Yeah.
But now there are a lot of things in place where you can get help.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah. And my family, they were totally awesome.
That's good.
And it was, I wish you would have done it sooner or but my
Right.
family's awesome.
Yeah.
And I am very thankful for them.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, what else we got? Anything?
You should learn your triggers and heal them, because that's how they get you. That's how they keep you emotional.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you heal those triggers, you can't be manipulated anymore.
Right.
Call me fat, ugly, dead laid, bad mom, horrible cook.
You're the dumbass that's with me. I mean,
That's that's another thing. If I am such a horrible POS, and ugly, and I can't do nothing right, why do you want me?
Yeah. I mean, really, that's the logic brain kicking in, saying, if I am all of these things that just detest, let me go.
Yeah.
Just say I'm done with you. I used you or whatever. Get out of my life. See you later, alligator.
That's another thing. When I kind of knew I was healing a little bit, is after I left, and it's like, oh yeah, she was just here to use me. Which I paid your bills and buy your groceries.
Yeah.
How am I using you?
Yeah.
But it wasn't that down with him, I'll show him. It was just like, you're so stupid.
Exactly.
Like, it didn't get me all fired up
Right.
like it would have
Right.
before.
And when you were talking about the triggers and knowing your triggers and healing from them, just knowing your triggers is very beneficial.
Absolutely.
And healing them, because you can't heal in the place you were triggered.
Right.
But just knowing those triggers helps you to recover quicker.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, oh, logic. Why did that trigger go off? Why did they use it against me? Because that was the other thing. I had a trigger and I got hit with it and I triggered and I'm like, oh, and then they're like, what? And I tell them why it triggered me or what it was, and then they use it against me later.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
I think that's why the love bombing phase is so important for them.
mm-hmm.
Because you trust them and you want to open up to them and tell them all your stuff. Because here's somebody that understands me, and I've told them this bit and they don't judge me and they still love me, and so I feel free to tell my story.
Everything, yes.
You have just given them all the ammunition they will ever need.
Yeah, and my left ear is ringing right now.
Yeah.
And that's an ego trip.
Yeah. But you can be open and authentic with someone
Yeah.
without telling them all your stuff.
But see, that coming from a healed version, you don't want to tell them all that stuff. It's not because you're ashamed but it's no longer part of you.
Right.
I have memories, I have new boundaries that were, so like the red flag goes up and I'm like stopping right now. Why am I feeling this? Is it me? Is it them? And I go through the cycle of the questions I ask myself. Is this a trigger? Is this? Is this that? Is it healthy? Is it not healthy? That's where my logical brain kicks in,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I go from there.
Yeah.
In the healed version of it, I don't start, like you meet somebody and then you're enamored with them and the love bombing happens and then you're just like, oh my God, we're going to do this and this and this and we're going to do that and that and that. And then you're all excited. It's just jacking me today. Yeah.
But see, I'm a little different with that because I can no longer trauma dump because I no longer see my past as trauma.
Right.
And I'm a shadow worker.
That's what I was trying to get to.
So I tap into my experience all the time.
Yes.
To teach and to help.
But from a healed version of it.
Right.
So that's what I was trying to get to, is like once you're in that healed version, then those triggers don't really trigger.
Yeah, they don't trigger anymore.
You can remember, or like, oh, I remember so-and-so said that to me. But it's not like, oh my God, so-and-so said that to me and I'm just going to have a meltdown or a breakdown right now because I can't handle that emotion coming back to the surface.
Right. And I am, so-and-so said something, they're triggered.
Oh.
So I wonder what it is about them that I triggered that way.
Yeah.
And so it's not even me being triggered thing anymore.
No.
It's like, that's a sensitive spot for them. I hit an unhealed area. Either I'm going to back off because
Right.
I'm not Captain Save-A-Ho anymore.
Right.
Or, but I am so much more aware of other people's triggers now.
See, I have that when I do my readings too.
Yeah.
I notice it a lot when I do my readings. I'm like, oh, seen that before. Yikes.
Yeah.
Or, hey, seen that before. Good job. Keep going.
Right.
Or
But that's a tough one too. Slightly off topic.
Yeah.
When you do see that, when you're doing a reading, I don't know if I should go here. The Spirit's showing me for a reason.
well, and usually they'll give you I get the words and the scenarios to present in a way that's not a trigger, but it's like not a damaging. It's
Yeah.
more of a healing type comeback from the trigger. But yeah, you're right. That's a little off topic.
I'm like, I say, I'm blunt, and if there's any topic you want me to stay away from, tell me,
Okay.
because I'm just to tell it like I see it.
Yeah. No, I get that.
So,
And I think that's really good in conversations too. As you're starting a new conversation with somebody, you're like, I'm just going to tell you right now, this is this and that is that. And
but it doesn't make friends.
well, I mean, if I'm interested in somebody who I want to be my partner, that's going to have to be something, because I already gave myself away.
Right.
I want someone who's going to compliment me, not complicate it. And that's starting to become so saturated, but it really is the truth. So yeah.
Healed triggers.
Heal triggers!
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I don't even know how long we've been at this half, but should we stop there?
I think so.
Okay.
We're at an hour, so.
If we do that, the only thing we have left is the 5 steps to heal it. Like we broke it, and then next video will be how to heal it.
Okay. Sounds good. We will see y'all next week.
Yep.
Happy Wednesday. Woohoo!
Yep.
And we'll see you again next Wednesday. We're getting a few more followers in.
Yes, thank you for those
Yes,
that like
thank you.
and follow. We appreciate
And
all.
Communicate, comment. We'd like to know what you guys want to hear more of, hear less of. If there's another topic, we got maybe
We got one more video on trauma bonding,
Yep.
and then new topic.
the new topic. So throw us a line, let us know. And again, if you need someone to reach out to, just give us a holler as well.
Yep.
See you next time.